What's up, guys? Justin Morgan here, carved up vegan muscle. Over the past 6 months or so, Jason Blaha, the fitness YouTuber, has experienced a great deal of, I guess you would call it public shaming, is how I'm entitling it. It's basically what this video is based around. And there has been entire channels that have developed from Shadow Man, who went back through Jason's entire past, looking back to around the year 2000 when Jason was posting things on social media forums, or on internet forums back then, and going under the name Dark Eternal and Body by Thanaplix, and just gone through this extraordinary amount of like background information on Jason, showing areas of Jason's life where he had lied, where he had exaggerated things, where he had just made up certain fictitious claims about his past. And what I really wanted to look at in this video, though, is not Jason's background, but in how the public shaming that some of these channels, Jason Blaha Mints, Jason Blaha Exposed, Shadow Man, a lot of the bigger YouTube channels have done videos kind of discrediting Jason, criticizing Jason, and those weren't the aspects that I wanted to look at, though, in this video. I wanted to look at the aspects of public shaming and how Jason has dealt with public shaming, how public shaming has affected him, and public shaming today. And as a kind of background source for this video, I'm using So You've Been Publicly Shamed by Jon Ronson. Jon Ronson is an author that writes about popular psychology, popular sociology, and that kind of thing. And I'm not sure what his educational background is exactly, but he does a lot of interviews and discusses. In this book in particular, he goes through and interviews various people that have been publicly shamed and how it's affected their careers, how their careers have been ruined. And there are a few passages, a few parts of the book where he actually interviews people that have gone through public shaming and have actually not been affected by it, have actually come out on top at the end. They've gone through public shaming, and instead of having their career ruined or ended, they actually came out pretty victorious with the whole thing. So, my cat's trying to get involved. This is Jasper. Say hello to Jasper, everyone. But Jason Blaha, for all intents and purposes, kind of is one of those people. And when I first began to look at it, began to examine the information, Jason and the channel, I thought he had been devastated by the whole thing. There had been, I'll throw up some the videos from Shadow Man for you to look at. Those were probably the most significant. They took the biggest hit against Jason's channel. He exposed like areas where Jason had claimed to be a reptilian, have like reptilian genetics, and it just got worse because Jason at first kind of tried to deny some of the claims. He tried to get other people involved. He acted like they were all these Muslim terrorists that were trying to make him look bad. He claimed to be part of the CIA. He claimed to be a former mercenary. He claimed to have killed people. He claimed to have been just a lot of crazy claims, abducted by aliens. The list goes on and on and on and on about these crazy things, and Shadow Man goes through and kind of one by one exposes all of these various things that Jason had claimed and how it's come back up over certain years. Now, but one of the people that Jon Ronson actually interviews in this book is a man named Max Mosley. He's a CEO for a motorsports company. I think it's a British company. But Max Mosley had been his father had been worked with Hitler. His mom was friends with Hitler, and so he kind of grew up with this disdain against him, and I think that kind of plays into how he reacts to the public shaming. What he ends up doing, though, is that people are hired to take pictures of him. He dresses up for this like sexual kind of encounter that he has, where these women dress up as I don't know, prisoners or something like that. I think he wears a German outfit, or a German part of the SS uniform, and he goes through and he like spanks them and all this stuff and has sex with them, and it's really pretty out there. But they end up, when the articles come out, it's put out in the paper, and it says that he did some kind of anti-Semitic thing where he dressed up and he was like pretending to beat Jews. But where he really comes back, though, is one, he just kind of laughs it off and goes on, but he actually sues them and wins because of the claim about being anti-Semitic. And he goes through and shows that nothing about the scenario was anti-Semitic. It was just German in nature, German military kind of S&M type things. So he kind of got them there because there really, apparently, when the judges ruled on it, there actually wasn't anything that was particularly anti-Semitic. So he got them for defamation of character or something like that. And he won, came out, I think it was maybe $1 million settlement or something like that. It was pretty significant. But he really came out of the whole thing in the end unblemished. He's still married, he still runs his company, his reputation wasn't really tarnished. He had no guilt about the whole sexual nature of the encounter, so he really wasn't hurt in any way by it. And what I wouldn't say I admire Jason in any ways. I think that Jason shares a lot of mixed information, and when I say that, I mean that he shares a lot of information that on one hand is good and accurate, and in the next video he'll share a lot of information that makes me think that he's not actually able to rightly divide research when he reads it. I don't think that some of the information that he shares I think it's highly based on his biased opinion, and then when he reads research, he kind of manipulates part of it. So if you actually go back and read some of the citations and research that he claims to be basing his claims off of, they don't always really pan out to be exactly what he made them out to be in the video. So I wouldn't say that I admire him as a researcher or as a scientist, indefinitely anyway. But what I do kind of admire is his persistence. He continues to make videos. In fact, he's gone to the other extreme. He makes videos even more so. They're longer and more frequent now than they were. He started making 10-minute long videos, making 3 to 5 videos per day. It's really pretty extreme. I'm not sure what the mindset or thinking behind that is, but he's definitely not hiding. He's definitely not backtracking. He's kind of hitting it head on as far as continuing to do what he's always done. So, regardless of what his reasoning behind doing that is, it definitely shows that if you are attacked in a public way, if you are exposed for some kind of thing that you've had in your past, which I would say most of us have. I don't know if I could come up with any scenarios that I would be afraid of. My life's been pretty boring, but I mean, you could probably spin any number of things for any given person to make them feel ashamed. Probably one of my biggest regrets, or my personal regrets, was from middle school, and it involved a friend of mine. We were kind of friends. We weren't like close, but this girl that I kind of liked at the time, mind you, I was maybe 11 or 12 years old, kind of said something to the effect of, "You don't like him, do you? Like, you're not friends with him, are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, no," because I somehow thought that would hurt my chances with her, I guess. And I turned to see that he was actually standing behind me when I said it. It actually carried with me on into my adult life. I actually found him back 3 or 4 years ago and told him about the scenario and apologized for it. And he responded. Everything was fine. He was like, I don't even remember that happening. But I've been kind of, it comes to mind every now and then as things that I regret from my childhood or things that I regret from my past. But anybody could find things about their life. Jason just happens to have a lot more of them than the average person. So let's see, I'm trying to, one thing that I read was from several different law books. Law professors have really gotten into some of these aspects of public shaming and social media, how social media affects different people's careers and different things like that. But some of the things that they were writing had to do with comparing, children growing up in the 80s and 90s to that were exposed now to social media, that are on social media, Generation Xers, to kids that actually grew up with their lives being displayed on social media, or kids that are growing up right now. And there are a lot of things that just, the internet is so open. The internet is permanent. It's, when you do something or say something on the internet, it gets encapsulated and holds with you through it could potentially hold with you through your entire career. Actually, in the book, and I'm trying to sum this video up, but in the book, there's actually several Google companies that you can hire, and they will actually go back and erase or find ways to eliminate your internet history if you've made a big mistake or put something out there. So maybe that's something Jason should have looked into, but now it's probably too late. So anyways, that's it. Sorry for the long video. I've been putting out a lot of really long ones. I'm going to try to get back to my normal 5-minute scenario, but just some of these videos, I put a lot of research, a lot of information into, and well, in this case it's just reading. I wasn't reading for Jason Blaha or anything, but he just happened to be the YouTube personality that seemed to fit best into the scenario. So that's it. You guys take it easy, and I'll talk to you in the next video.